must be a friendship that only we shall have.
My advice to you, start drinking heavily.
Well, hello, Mr. Fenton. Why, oh, why did I get to sleep? Father.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
633rd Monday Night Comedy Show. Continue to freak out for your host, Andrew Danger Brittleton.
Hello, everybody. Okay, I just broke the mic stand. Excellent, we're back at Nanotako Studios in North Minneapolis. Aren't you excited? Yes, of course you are. My God, we have a good show tonight. This is our 633rd Monday Night Comedy Show. By sound of applause, who's never even heard about us in the last 14 years. To be honest, okay, someone who actually works here. That's good.
I mean, there was the one dude that hadn't heard of us and then showed up, and it was really cool that he showed up.
You mean Kevin, who's going to be reading the book club page book? Yes, Kevin Holmes thought that this was an open mic, where this has been the longest-running book showcase in the Twin Cities for the last 14 years. We're not trying to embarrass Kevin, but dummy, you fucking dummy, duh.
We'll soften that response in post. Yeah.
Sometimes I forget about this show, and it's totally fine. We actually start the show off by killing and eviscerating a stuffed bear that's adorable holding a heart. We call it Whitey. But I, in my infinite wisdom, left Whitey at home. These things do happen. Oh, yes, boo. Because you love it so much when I kill him. It falls to fucking silence and cricket noises, and we don't even have a cricket sound effect machine here. I also left that at home. But anyhow, this is Whitey, the Monday Night Comedy Show comedy bear. Spelled correctly for in our.
It took 2 tries.
We had in our rehearsal earlier because this is such a professional show. There's an I in Whitey, but you know.
There's no I in team. There is one in Whitey.
There is. There's a me and whatever. You know what? Let's kill Whitey. Okay. At Kruger's suggestion, here's the blood. I hope you're proud. This is going in the scrapbook.
Good.
This is with the blood side out.
Someday the Minnesota History Museum
this was Kruger's idea.
The Monday Night Comedy Show lasted for 30 years. Do you have any stuff?
Oh my God. Could you imagine? By sound of applause, who can imagine me lasting another 15 years of this show? No. I have high blood pressure and type 2 diabetes. I'm going to die in a few minutes. So, but before we do that, let's do the book club. We're reading page 51. Normally, it's of Full House, Stephanie, Picture Me Famous, but in the recurring theme that is tonight, I forgot it at my house. You guys are supposed to join in. So instead, we are going to read a bit of page 51 from University Hospital, Prognosis, Heartbreak. And we figure it's about the same as Picture Me Famous, the Full House Stephanie book. So here to read page 51, please welcome to the Monday Night Comedy Show, Kevin Holmes, who thought it was an open mic. Woo! Kevin Holmes. Yes. Welcome. What do you have your phone here for?
Keep it going for Andy, everyone. Thank you. Wow, I've never started a mic and bombed before I got on stage, so this is a first for everything.
You're just reading the page, buddy.
Even when I meant to read, I bomb. How is that possible? Okay, seconds later, we're at Rachel's bedside. First impression, Ethel, a cloud of red hair, very skinny, pale, patch with faded jeans, T-shirt that reads, "You wish." She sits on bed, guitar in her lap as she strums, IV in her arm. "Rachel, good morning," Dr. Booth says too heartily. "Hey, Dr. B." Rachel hits another chord and eyes me curiously. "Rachel, this is Zoe Appleton," Dr. Booth tells her. "She's studying to be a doctor." Zoe, meet Rachel. Green eyes flecked with light asked as me. Luminous. Hi, you in med school? Rachel asked. Just graduated from high school, I admit. She smiles. I've still got another year to go, but senior year should be pretty good, right? I think, except for the fact that odds are you won't be there. I nod and smile in a stupid fashion. She asked me if I liked being a senior. Frankly, I wasn't a big fan of high school, I admit. Pretty much all I did was study. Rachel laughs. My parents would love you. She turns to Boos. So, what's shaking, Dr. B? Boos smiles at her fondly. How are you feeling? Rachel strums a chord. Then she sings, turning her voice into an 80-year-old Mississippi River Delta bluesman. Yeah! That pretty good? Pretty good?
On behalf of the Monday Night Comedy Show, we'd like to give you this suitable for framing certificate of completion for reading page 51 of University Hospital, Prognosis, Heartbreak. Give it up for Kevin Holmes, everyone. Kevin Holmes. Thank you, Kevin. Now, I did read home. I read ahead. I cheated. I broke the Monday Night Comedy Show book club rule. I did read ahead in this book. It follows the exact same plot line as the Stephanie book, except the next page, page 52. Sadly, we're not going to read that because it's Stephanie next week. They have an orgy, but it becomes an orgy of regret. I'm just going to say that, and maybe you can pick up University Hospital, Prognosis, Heartbreak.
Wasn't Orgy of Regret your debut album title, Andy?
No, it was An Evening in 2009.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Really? Wow, okay. So I was with my girlfriend, right? Okay, anyway. Orgy of Regret. Wow. It's going to be one of those nights, Kruger, where everybody gets so hot they have to take off their clothes. But before that happens, let's watch a video from our good friend John Wheeler. It's called Tale of Retail Revenge. And you can see that on his YouTube page or here at the Monday Night Comedy Show. Take it away, Nanotako Studios.
Target used to sell cigarettes, but not anymore because of me. My lifelong hatred of corporations, retail, and people who could actually pursue their interests rather than slaving away for peanuts because their parents actually had money all began with my first job as a cashier at Target when I was 15 years old. Way back then, Target used to have a special checkout lane at the end that sold all the gas station crap like newspapers and smokes. And I hated working it. Everyone hated working it. Because as you can imagine, it's the lane that all the grossest and most demanding customers would use. Believe me, the regular lanes were already bad enough. I would get stuck there all the time because I was new and young and everyone in charge there was an awful turd. Then I learned that it was against the law to have a 15-year-old selling cigarettes. I brought this up to management and their answer was, no, it's not. Fine. I not only decided to stop carding people, but to start offering cigarettes to any underage kids that happened through my line. Would you like some cigarettes with that, sir? I would ask, and since this was the mid-90s, the answer was pretty much always yes. The store I worked for got in huge trouble. I sold cigarettes to like thousands of children, and Target couldn't throw me under the bus because admitting that they forced a minor to sell cigs in the middle of the giant shitstorm that they were already in would have made it even worse. And because of that, they were also afraid to fire me. So I was still there when all of their tobacco products were being hauled away. And I watched them have to explain the whole thing to all of their pissed off smoker customers like 50 times a day. Then, in the middle of a super busy, understaffed back to school sale, I quit. I dropped acid working at Toys R Us on Black Friday. In 2007, I got a part-time seasonal job at Toys R Us because the American dream is a fucking lie. I decided to do overnight stock because I hate customers, children, and most of all, myself. After about 2 shifts, I also hated Toys R Us. It is the most incompetently run business that I have ever worked for. There is nothing I could do to destroy that dumpster fire of a company that they weren't already doing themselves. In late November, we were told that it was mandatory for all employees to work Black Friday. I told them that I wasn't hired to work days. I have no idea how anything in the store actually works, And I'm going to be out of my mind from not sleeping the night before. And they said, you're going to have to find a way to stay awake or you'll be terminated. Fine. The last time I couldn't sleep for 2 days was that summer I took a hit of Blue Felix LSD. I also couldn't drive, walk in a straight line, form a complete sentence, and I had 1 tab left, which I took in the parking lot before my shift. T-minus 20 minutes. They told me I needed a blue smock and a name tag. So I grabbed a XXL smock that went down to my knees and I printed a name tag that said McLovin. And I proceeded to have the best day I've ever had at work in my life. Managers would ask me to do things and I would just say, alrighty then, and wander off into the chaos and not do any of it. I laughed at everything everyone said. I yelled everything at the top of my lungs. I knocked things over. I climbed up ladders for no reason. I couldn't understand anything that customers were saying to me and I gave completely nonsensical answers. Huh? Oh yeah, no, I think it's maybe up there. I gotta go. The situation should have been really stressful, but I was absolutely lost in the sauce. I was in a technicolor vortex of overstimulation and insanity that I could barely remember half of. And I didn't get fired. That day was so mismanaged and out of control that nobody noticed I was acting like the Tasmanian devil for 9 solid hours at work. But John, you might ask, aren't your stories usually about getting revenge on jobs that pushed you around? What did this accomplish? Oh, don't you worry. Over the next month, I stole a bunch of video games. Several Ragstock locations got shut down because of me. Ragstock avoided paying taxes by claiming that they were a non-profit organization, which was an absolute lie. They were a regular-ass business that paid me $6 an hour. They went around to Goodwills and Salvation Armies, you know, actual nonprofits, and bought up all of the cool, cheap clothes and then turned around and sold them for way more at the mall. They also sold brand new name brand stuff like Hollister and American Eagle for suspiciously cheap. One day in a staff meeting where my awful manager was complaining about money, I suggested that we hang the brand new threads up in the front window, and she said we could absolutely never do that. I asked why not? People go bananas for those deals. It's a huge seller. It makes absolutely no sense. She finally broke down and admitted that they didn't have a license to sell those things. What would happen if the right people found out? I asked with a smile. You're not smart enough to find out who the right people are, she replied. Bitch! How about Hollister and American Eagle? You think they might be interested in hearing about this? And boy, were they! Those companies have entire departments dedicated to stopping this exact thing from happening, and I told them all about it. Once the investigation got started, I informed the local news. A news station actually called me and asked me about the whole non-profit thing, too. And then I got fired. But a month later, my old location was gone, along with several others. Oops, dopey me.
We
Soon.
never want to piss him off.
We never do, whistleblower. Jesus Christ. Yeah, one more time for John Wheeler. Woo! Everybody. Keep that applause going for one of our own, Elizabeth S., our first comic this evening.
Elizabeth S.
Is everyone hydrated? Get these people water. All right. So I'm kind of a last minute thing up here right now. I was like working out like an hour ago and now I'm here. And I didn't get to do my normal routine, which is, step 1, take a Xanax. And that's about it. I take Xanax, like I'm from Edina, but I live in North Minneapolis. They say take the drug for the job that you want, and I want to be a trophy wife. So aspirational drug taking. That's what I'm doing here. So I was walking around my neighborhood, and this guy in a car on the road slows down next to me and rolls down his window, and I'm really excited for this. Just can't wait for this positivity to just hit me, And he says, "Yo, bitch." And I say, "What?" And he asked, does the carpet match the drapes? And I said, why would you care? I thought dogs were colorblind. And I didn't get an answer to my question, so I feel like very ignored right now, and that's awful. It's awful. I went to the gas station. I went in the gas station to get food because I miss eating like a trucker. And a guy came up to me and asked for directions to the highway, and I told him, and then he said, sorry, I wasn't listening. Could you write that down with a pen and paper? I said, no, I can't. I don't have those things. And he said, you know what? I have a pen and paper out in my van. Come out to my van with me and write down the directions. And I said, you know what? I'm really sorry, but I promised another guy in a van that I would let him murder me. And he promised to wear a mask. And I just really feel like rewarding people for good behavior. Yeah. So I'm still working from home. Clap if you're working from home still. It's great. I work 2 hours a week. It's so awesome. It's like they can't watch me. They don't know. Most of the work is just attending meetings, like Zoom meetings and stuff. And you know, there's always somebody who doesn't have their sound shit figured out. They can't get their audio on, or they can't hear you or whatever. And I'm usually that person, and I don't intend to change. I like all the attention on me, and when I am the problem, I don't have a problem. Other people have a problem, and that problem is me. I love it, and then I will even like play along, like I am really actually trying to fix it. Oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing. This happens every time. Oh no, and I just kind of like pretend like I'm a cat playing a piano and stuff. Like, I don't know. But yeah, I'm probably gonna get fired. But that's okay. I've been fired before. It is pretty sweet. I cried in a meeting, and they just could not handle that. They were not ready for that emotional labor watching me cry. It was so awesome. I made more unemployed than I did at that job. Maybe why I was crying, but they didn't ask, why are you crying? They're like, please leave. It's like, that's the way I would be. Like, if I were a boss and someone cried in front of me, I'd be like, ew. Like, how can I make this end and not have a conversation? I mean, it's like, I get that. I really get why they fired me, and I like being fired. It feels like equilibrium, like peace in the universe when I don't have to work. Like, that feels right. All right. I've been gardening because gardening is a cry for help. It's cheaper than going to therapy, so I do it. Only a little cheaper. And I like it, you know, you just like, I did a really good job, I think, at the beginning. You know, I just like to really dig a really deep hole and scream into it and put the dirt back in, and then wait a couple weeks, and then out comes a fully formed libertarian. What joy. But the garden is dying, and now the weeds are taking over, and I feel like I've decided I'm pro weeds. I feel like they are winning, and I'm switching teams. They're doing a good job. They're going to be left even after I'm dead. They will probably eat me and then keep growing, and I'm really excited for them and their journey of being obnoxious. What else? Oh, so did you all get like stimulus checks like a really long time ago? Best 3 days of my life. What I did is I paid someone $15 an hour to just not work at Pizza Hut, because I don't like Pizza Hut for reasons. Largely I just don't think they're huts, and I think that is really misleading of them to call themselves huts. I think they're more like caves. I mean, they're really more like vaginas, but kids like to go there, and let's just call them caves. But huts, unacceptable. So I heard a statistic the other day that over the course of a lifetime, your lifetime, a woman's lifetime, it costs $1 million more to be a single woman. I didn't even know cats ate that much. Like, that's insane. I love that. Okay, well, that's enough of me. Thanks so much, everybody. I'm firing myself now.
Humans of the audience, give it up for Elizabeth S.
Elizabeth S. Elizabeth also just happens to be the booking agent for the Monday Night Comedy Show, so everybody you've seen tonight and over the last few weeks and in the future they all have to be vetted by that person there. One more time for Elizabeth S. All right. What are we doing, Kruger? I'm wearing shorts.
Yeah.
For the first time in 633 shows.
It's hot.
That's
Real
the reason.
warm.
I didn't give up.
No.
Next week I'm wearing sweatpants.
I mean, then you're just making fashion choices. You're still showing up.
Fashion choice.
Are you still trying to be as funny as you always try to be?
Oh, that's the thing. I never try to be. And this all just comes naturally.
Oh. Well, then why not dress comfortably?
Okay, I thought we were going to do like a back and forth with
You get mad when I fight
you. It would escalate, and I would be speaking French, you would be speaking German, and
why do we always have to have these kinds of conversations in front of an audience, Andy?
Think back, Internet. The first time you ever were performing at the Monday Night Comedy Show virtually.
Keep going, boss.
Okay, keep going with it. The furthest comic away back then was like, what, Ontario, New York, maybe like fucking Long Island. Yeah, tonight we have that completely beat because live streaming from Malaysia. It is 9 a.m. in Malaysia right now. I had Alexa do the math on that one this afternoon, but live from Malaysia, please everyone, welcome to the Monday Night Comedy Show, Juliana HENG.
Thanks, Andrew. Hi, everyone. I'm Juliana HENG from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. If you have not been to Kuala Lumpur before, you did not miss much. We are just the Asian version of Detroit. Malaysia is a beautiful place. We have good food, good weather, and bad pilots. I can't tell this joke in Malaysia. Malaysia is still the tallest twin towers in the world. So it is the perfect destination for the suicidals. Yes, perfect destination for the suicidals. Just in case you don't die the first time, you have the second tower to try again. So in Malaysia, it is 9:24 a.m. So which means I'm already done with hangover. I have autism. Autism happens when one part of the brain grows faster than others. For me, it's my forehead. Well, less of a forehead, more of a foreign. Advertise your business here. I'm serious. I'm a comedian and I need cash. Because of autism, I'm a bit slow. When you all listen to jokes, you will laugh immediately. I will laugh a bit later. Tomorrow. If you aren't laughing right now, don't worry. You are just like me. This reminds me of your former president, Donald Trump. Every time a reporter asked him a question, he only tweeted a reply at 3 a.m. Donald was saying that the COVID-19 is the Chinese bird flu. I may be Chinese, but don't worry. You won't get the COVID-19 from me on screen. But because I'm autistic, you will get it tomorrow. I'm 31 years old this year and still single. There's no joke in this. I just want to tell you, I'm still available. Dating is hard for someone like me because I cannot read emotions, social cues, and flirting signals. Sometimes I don't even know when someone wants to kiss me until I feel their tongue. My love life has been a mess. I've been on 6 first dates this year, and all of them ended the same way. They tried to sell me something. Insurance, travel membership, and a human liver. I bought the liver. You will never know when you need one. I've decided to use an autistic dating app. Many of the people there looks very strange and bizarre. And all I need to do is to swipe up on someone I like. Yes, it's called Pokemon Go. As someone who is literal, I find dating app names very complicated. For example, Tinder. I thought that it's an app for smokers to look for their lighters. Grindr, I thought that it's an app for guys to look for their power tools to screw each other. And Coffee Meets Bagel, I actually thought it's a new food delivery app. When the guy comes, he has no food. He is the bagel. We don't have such problems in the autistic dating world. We have an autistic dating site. It has a brilliant name. It's called autisticdating.com. Because we don't fuck around when we wanna fuck around. I managed to date someone on the spectrum. Do you know what happens when 2 autistic people comes together? Nothing. It's just like putting 2 pandas together. We think the same, we act the same, and we play Pokemon Go. Separately. Because we are the experts of social distancing. At the end of the day, I've decided to date someone neurotypical because that way, I always get to be special. Being autistic is so valuable, Elon Musk wants a stake in it. So, being the king of Bitcoin, I know that he will come up with this new Bitcoin called the autistic Bitcoin. And this is how he's going to sell it. Buy the autistic Bitcoin now because you will get your return a bit later, tomorrow. Which is not so bad after all. And yeah, so the thing is I'm gender fluid non-binary, which means sometimes I feel like a woman, sometimes I feel like a martini. I'm bisexual. I'm attracted to both women and dogs. Guys, relax. I'm not talking about you. So people ask me, Juliana, which toilet do you use? male or female? Good question. With this big dick energy, obviously, the cleaner one. Recently, I just started watching RuPaul's Drag Race, and I'm so inspired to put my dog in drag. So his drag name will be RuPaul. So my mom loves like a vending machine. To get her love, you have to keep inserting coins. So Dad inserted a lot. He has inserted his manhood, mansion, and pension, and still did not get love. So my dad is divorcing my mom. He does not have a girlfriend, but told me he has a type. It's weird knowing that your dad has a type. It's even weirder to know that dad's type is the same as mine. We like the same type of woman, which is anyone except my mom. Dad told me about a new girl he's seeing. Juliana, I feel that this girl is into my intelligence. And I told him, Pa, I feel that this woman is into your pension. Yeah. And recently I came out to my dad. Pa, I like women. My dad said, Juliana, you are only into women because you met too many shitty men. And I said, Pa, you are right. I met you. So people told me that, Juliana, you have autism. You cannot drive. That's not true. I'm a very conservative driver. My maximum speed limit is only 50 miles per hour on the oncoming lane. Even better, I'm an Uber driver back home in Asian Detroit. Don't worry. The power window to my car works. Uber sent a message to my passengers informing them that I'm disabled, but they did not state what kind of disability I have. Because of that, every time I drive up to my passengers, they will cancel on me when they see me in sunglasses. Thank you so much. I'm Juliana HENG.
Humans of the audience, give it up for Juliana HENG.
Juliana HENG, live from Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. My God, thank you so much for doing comedy this early in the morning. I hope you have a great rest of your day because everybody's here is going to have a good night because you joined the Monday Night Comedy. So one more time for Juliana HENG. Outstanding. That just shows like Elizabeth S. is booking all these comics, and like she has done in the last like 2 months of booking what I couldn't do in 14 years. Like we've had some decent shows, like 5, but everyone that Elizabeth has booked has been amazing. Like Malaysia, Kruger, come on. Yeah. Like the furthest person I know is like Indianapolis. Yeah. That's it. That's all I know. Burnsville is a stretch for me. That seems far away.
You know, like a couple people in California.
Like, yeah.
That moved there
half
from
of
here.
One, right?
Yeah.
And LA's changed them.
Yeah. I mean, like.
Well, the cocaine did. Anyway, speaking of Malaysia and cocaine, let's go to the sister city of Kuala Lumpur, Louisville, Kentucky. I have no idea if that fact is actually true or not, but let's watch an intro video and see who's coming from Louisville, Kentucky.
Jake HOVIS!
Hey, howdy.
Yeah. It's still today over here. So that's fun. Excited to be here. All three of me are excited to be here. But hey, Kentucky is a weird place, man. Because of the Derby, people are like super into horses. And it's bizarre. I mean, I'll go over to my neighbor's house, and she just has like pictures of hooves, just the hooves, all over the wall, and like severed hooves of horses just as drinking glasses. It's unpleasant. It is unpleasant. Anyway, my goodness. Hey, I'm trying to just fit in. Haven't fit in a long time. In high school, didn't really fit in because they had those wraparound desks. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And it was easier for me just to wear the desk from room to room and try to slide out of that guy. So I played football, tried to fit in that way. I was the biggest and the slowest guy on the team. What you would call lineman material, I suppose. I was as slow as a snail on a short bus. All right, we don't like that one. Okay, now we know. Yeah, I'm going to scratch that one off later. Anyway, I was not good, but the quarterback absolutely loved me. He didn't have to tell me so often. Like, that got weird. He wrote it in the yearbook. I don't even want to tell you about the tattoo. But every time I would bend over, he'd put his hands underneath me like this. And I'm like, I'm the left guard. And we're in home ec. What are you doing? Help me with the cookies. My goodness. Oh, man. Did anybody out there, did you get anybody take Spanish? Anybody take Spanish? Yeah. Notice I said take Spanish, not learn Spanish. I had very little idea. I took Spanish, had very little idea of what was going on. This was never more evident than when we had an assignment where we were going to go to a supermarket, a Spanish-speaking supermarket, and have conversations with native Spanish speakers. It's like, yeah, that's going to be a problem. I know nothing. The one phrase I knew was, how old are you? So my plan was to walk around this supermarket and ask complete strangers, how old are you? And then like immediately end the conversation. But Spanish is a fun language. You don't ask how old you are, you ask how many years do you have? And the Spanish word for year is años, very similar to another Spanish word, anus, which means butthole. So I walked around this supermarket asking total strangers, how many buttholes do you have? And I'm like really confused when they all say uno. Except the butcher, he said he could give me a deal on 5. I ended up with a C in the class, which is pretty good because that means yes. Oh, man. Oh, I went to college. I assume some people went to college, but I can't see you guys. I mean, the one dude probably did. Everybody, I don't know. Everybody goes, anyway, you know what Freshman 15, you guys are familiar with the Freshman 15?
Yeah.
Right? That's where it hit me really hard, was what I'm saying. The Freshman 15, if you're not familiar, is where you you gain 15 pounds every month. Yeah, I'm 6'8", so when I started in college, people were like, "Oh man, does this guy play basketball?" And then a couple months later, like, maybe football. And then after a little while, they're like, "This guy's Hagrid. I think he's Hagrid." Tell me I'm a wizard. Oh man, that's when I met an Australian guy, and I learned some Australian slang for fat guy. My favorite of which was just two dudes. This guy is just as big as two of them squished together. Another fun insult hurled my way was salad. Sorry, let me say it again. Was salad dodger, which was pretty accurate. If I am not gonna lie. I just learned recently. Do you guys know this? Grapes have stems. I had no idea that grapes had stems. Oh, my diet is terrible. I got kidney stones. That's fun. I got kidney stones, and I know a lot of people compare kidney stones to childbirth because, there's the pain, there's the anticipation, there's the joy when you look down in the funnel and you're like, I made that. I named mine Rocky because he's a fighter, Oh man, I was in just last week, man. I was in one of these competitions with comedians and musicians. I hate those, right? It's because I write all of my stuff, and some of it is not good. I know that. Like you guys didn't like the snail joke. But I write all of my stuff, and then I'm being compared to a musician who's doing like Journey. Like, oh, I love that song. Yeah, we all love that song. We all think that we're a small town girl living in a lonely world. I get it. But, they have to compare me to him. I should be able to do like a Richard Pryor bit or at least Larry the Cable Guy. I mean, something. But I have to write all my own stuff. Doesn't seem fair. The weird part when you do a competition with musicians, this happened, like I said last week, a woman came up to me and she said, "Hey, I think you are the funniest of the comedians." So there was a musician that was funnier. They weren't telling jokes. I don't know what. Oh my goodness! It was real awkward because I went to the bathroom and I was standing there at the urinal, and a guy came up to me and said, "Nice set," which is a compliment. Obviously, I appreciate that, but I think he might have been talking about my nuggets. Oh, all right. Oh man, do you guys ever think I don't get paid enough for this? Yeah, I assume you're saying yes. I think that all the time. I just don't get paid enough. Whenever I'm a teacher, I'm a high school teacher, which explains the nugget comment. And all day, every day, I'm like, I don't get paid enough for this. The worst part is when I was at a rough school and the kids would fight. I had one fight that broke out first period of the day. I'm teaching geometry, so everybody is really excited, right? They're all jazzed up to learn about, geometric proofs. Oh, tell us about parallel lines, giant in the front. And they're like, hey, I don't know if this salad dodger even knows what a proof is. So we're like 40 minutes into the most boring class ever. And the fight happens in like 2 seconds. It was two girls, and one of them said something like, hey, I didn't appreciate that. I don't know. And the other one said like, well, you want to throw down? And they instantly started fighting. And I was like, I shouldn't one of them to lose. I don't know. Like, I definitely had a favorite. Like, I moved to that girl. She is so much better. Oh, man. Anyway, I don't get paid enough for that. Thanks, y'all. Jake.
Humans of the audience, give it up for Jake HOVIS.
Jake HOVIS from Louisville, Kentucky. Thank you so much for joining us again, Jake. We love having you on. Is it sticky and gross in Louisville right now?
Absolutely. Unbelievably gross. I mean, I am just moist everywhere.
Jake, please don't use that word on my show.
All right. I am moist in a lot of places.
That's right. We don't put the word every right next to the word where in the Monday Night Comedy Show.
We're just going to let her...
You can say, every place that I've checked where there might be a thing, it wasn't there. But you can't say, I looked every... Because then Andy just starts stabbing.
Say scatting?
Stabbing.
Oh. All right, this is about to be fucking awesome, but whatever. No, you're right. Stabbing, not...
Well, you
like
scat
jazz.
and then you stab. The scat is like the cue, like the rattlesnake rattle. When you hear, deep, 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 deep. Oh shit! Sorry, Andy. I'm done.
What just happened there was a breach of contract. Jason Kruger, he signed a waiver saying that he would never scat on this show.
Yep.
That the scatting responsibilities would be mine at my discretion. And
I was demonstrating. I'm sorry.
That's fine. This is, of course, your last show. But
okay.
We are
last show number 493rd. I mean, actual last show. Won't see you next week, folks.
Can you stay mad at that face? Can you ever go back to that? Look at that. Look at that. Look at that little mug. My God. He's turning, 22 this August 21st?
40.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So something, around, it's a divisible number. Anyway.
I should have said 22.
You look like you're 14.
Aw.
And we're here
14
celebrating.
and lived a hard
like
life.
Super awkward bar mitzvah. Like, I want my bar mitzvah to be different. Well, let's broadcast it from North Minneapolis.
Yeah, sounds like.
In 90-degree heat.
Yep.
And everybody has to wear black.
Yeah.
Everybody. If for the folks watching at home, everybody in this room is wearing more black than you are. So that's.
I am wearing the least black.
Yeah.
And I feel like a total
even
tool.
with Kruger's American blue jeans, they're very they're faded. They've got a darkness to them. So they've seen some shit. And okay, well, no more talking about your pants, Kruger. They want the final comic of the first act. But if you are having a good time, we take donations from Venmo, venmo.com/Monday Night Comedy Show, or Cash App, $MNCS 69.
Yeah.
Because I'm a
That's cool
I'm a
and funny.
cancer. It's very funny. It's because
and cool.
Also,
Yeah. I'm with you.
Top to
Look,
good stuff.
Look, Andy, look to your right.
Which one?
That
Am
one. Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah, you're right. On the screen behind you, to the side with your. See? It's a shark eating pizza.
It's a shark eating pizza.
Yeah, with our Cash App on it. See how cool that is?
Like nature.
And there's a cat shark with our Venmo.
That's actually real.
Yeah.
That's
Andy
around.
almost got one of those as a pet once.
They sell them at PetSmart.
Yeah.
If you're a PetSmart member, rewards member, they're cheaper.
They're so entertained. I just love it.
No, they're not.
Oh.
I've been doing this long enough to know that they hate me.
Oh.
Yes, it's fine. I wish I had something to lean on.
There's too many chords for me to do a sight gag right now. So
we can always do a sight gag, Kruger. Even.
Sorry, Andy.
Okay, we'll just no. That's all right. Well, we're gonna commit to this bit. We can't do improv here by choice. Go away. Go away. Go away with your blue jeans. Final comic of the first act is no stranger to the Monday Night Comedy Show. Let's watch his intro video. It's Josh KANGAS.
Thank you for that. Like Andy said, yeah, it's fucking hot in here. And yeah, even last time when it wasn't as hot, I was sweating my ass off. I sweat in exactly 2 places. I sweat my forehead, if you didn't hear that, and my crotch. So basically, by the end of this set, I'll be growing some crotch mushrooms.
Cool.
So those of you in the audience, if you want to, do some harvesting, feel free. Anywho, so anyone been watching the Olympics? Wow. Bad Americans. Speaking of Americans, if we don't win every single competition that involves shooting a gun, I'm going to be very disappointed. I mean, we practice. We practice like crazy people shooting guns. Actually, with all the Americans that are in the Olympic Village right now, I'm surprised there hasn't been a shooting yet, but happens. Thought I'd start dark. Okay. So, are you wondering about this bandage on my finger? Of course you're not. I mean, who sees a bandage on a finger and is like, wow, I wonder if there's a real story there. I mean, if I was up here in like a full body cast, I would understand, but yeah, you might not think there's a good story about a bandage on a finger. Well, I'm about to blow your fucking mind. Anyway, so about a week ago, I noticed some swelling and redness in my finger. I didn't think much of it. It happens every once in a while. You might get a sliver under there, and it just kind of goes away after a while. But then a few days, it didn't get any better, and then it started swelling even more. It got all, like round and red, and basically my finger was like the world's least delicious lollipop. So I contacted a nurse friend of mine. Hi, Katie. She's not watching. And she said it's probably an ingrown fingernail. And turns out that's something you can actually treat yourself. All you have to do, really, is just soak your finger like twice a day in water and Epsom salt. And yeah, it'll go away on its own. That was incorrect. So a few days go by, it gets even worse, starts turning like purple and black, and it gets really painful. So I talked to Katie again. She says, well, you're going to have to go to a doctor and get that shit drained. I'm like, oh, fuck, okay. So I went to the doctor. He said, yes, it's an ingrown nail. He asked if I've been cutting my nails like I normally do, and of course, I'm not going to tell him that I've been biting my nails for 39 years, and, that's what causes ingrown fingernails, but he's only the doctor. Why would he need to know that? But anyway, he had to fix the problem. So basically, he got out the iodine and everything, and a scalpel, a fresh scalpel, and looking at that, I asked him, so is there any kind of, local anesthetic involved? And he laughed. So basically at that point I felt like one of those old-timey Civil War soldiers in those movies where they're sitting at the table and about to be amputated with no anesthetic, so they basically just down a bunch of whiskey and bite onto something hard like leather or something. But then, yeah, he just did one quick swipe with the scalpel. That part was fine. It barely hurt at all. But the rest of it sucked my balls. Except, no, I would like that. It was unpleasant. Yes, that's what I meant to say. So basically, that shit doesn't come out on its own. not all of it at least. So he had to, kind of work it. For about 30 seconds, he was just grinding in there. And basically, it was like he was trying to get the last bit of toothpaste out of a tube. It was very uncomfortable. But yeah, so my finger at the end, after everything was done, it was on a white cloth, and the white cloth looked like a crime scene, basically. Just blood and pus and all that shit everywhere. It was awesome. But yeah, so the worst part was over. The next day, I take off my bandage, and then I realize I have a zombie finger. So basically what my finger looked like is if you inflate a balloon and then pop it, that's what the finger looked like. Just a bunch of dead skin everywhere. And when I picked at it, it kind of bled. So I'm like, oh shit, this is so cool. I'm like 0.05% zombie. This is awesome. So yeah, that's the story about the finger. I know you guys didn't actually ask, but this is a comedy show and it's a one-way conversation, and that's what I like about it. So, anyway, let's see. What else have I been up to? Oh yeah. So this year, I have finished 50 jigsaw puzzles. I am not exaggerating. I know what you're thinking. You could just say, why don't you just say you're single and unemployed? Maybe I want to put a positive spin on it. I mean, I have 6 weeks of unemployment benefits left and staring down the barrel of homelessness. So, maybe I want to celebrate my one accomplishment, which is fitting pieces of cardboard together. Woo. Oh, that reminds me, Andy, how are those donations coming? Are they good? Are they good? We getting a lot? Anyway, along with my employment situation, my face is cursed. I've noticed that if I shave my facial hair, I look like Bobby from King of the Hill. But the worst is if I keep my facial hair, I look like Louis C.K. So I hate that because I am definitely not Louis C.K. One, obviously I don't force women to watch me masturbate. That should go without saying. But two, I'm actually funny. Let's see. What's been pissing me off lately? There's a Facebook post that actually fascinates me with how dumb it is. It's a question that has literally no interesting answers. Like there will be one that says, do you prefer when you hang your toilet paper roll, do you want it over or under? There is no interesting answer to that. It's one or the other. Who gives a fuck? And there are like 600,000 people dead from COVID. But yeah, let's just, argue about, whether a toilet paper roll should go above or below. I actually think that's probably why so many people have died from COVID. Someone's like, oh, you want me to get a vaccine, huh? Well, you like pineapple on pizza, so fuck you. So yeah, for the record, I'm against pineapple on pizza. If I'm going to exclude a food from the menu, I would probably take off avocado. And as for the toilet paper roll, I don't do either one. I'm too lazy to even hang it up. So I'm also too lazy to continue this set. So you all have a good one. Thank you, guys.
Humans of the audience, give it up for Josh Kangas.
It's Josh Kangas, everyone. Josh Kangas. Give that applause going for all the comics you've seen so far in the first act, because, yeah, that means clap, please. There we go. I'm sorry I wasn't more clear. Sometimes, so I found out this morning I'm pregnant. You're supposed to clap for that. That's the international sign of useless platitude.
Sorry, I thought it was a setup.
No, it was. This is TP roll over.
Every time.
And to make it more interesting, TP roll over, and I'm sleeping with my boss's wife.
Good on you.
All my information is on LinkedIn. It's not impressive by any stretch. I get notifications from people who are more successful. When we come back from intermission, Sam Lamon's actually going to describe in detail a cataract replacement surgery in viscous detail. And we're going to eat room temperature meats while he does that. Something to look forward to for our studio audience, but when you at home, you go to your refrigerator in the next 10 or so minutes. Smoke if you got to pee, because it's been a while. Here in the studio, the bathroom is down the hall. It is unisex, so go with someone that you trust, or just start a queue and be polite and don't freak anybody out. We'll be back in about 10. Please enjoy Eva from Eva in the Garden during intermission, performing right here on the Nanotako stage. So we'll be back in about 10, guys.
Thank you for having me tonight. This is lovely. Spending this evening with people that I admire so much, playing music, doing what I love. My name's Eva. I'm in a band called Eva in the Garden, and I'm happy to be playing some songs for you tonight. And I hope you like what you hear. First song I have is called Silver Sleeves. It'll be my first single. I'm actually recording it this weekend. It should be out in a month or so for streaming pleasures. But here we go. I don't think I'm going to use a pick. I'll just use my fingers for this one. Okay, again, Silver Sleeves. Remember the silver on your sleeves. You wore a bear trap. You danced with the trees. You wear the sunset like a crown, running in circles, chasing the foreground. Why singing purple melodies, juniper berries show up in my dreams. After the dark spell took over the soil, I still carry a little piece of the dream. Tall grass do you hide, looking for the long run. The further from home I seem to be, familiar faces are holding me. Pieces of emerald dance at sea, looking for silence now, for some clarity. In the tall grass do you hide, looking for the long run. Now they're running after you. You come on home. Thank you so much. So yeah, I love that song. I think you always love your newest songs as a musician, like they're your new babies. But yeah, I'm excited to do that one this weekend. And I'm just gonna take a little sip. And my next song is called Watch Me Out. Not Walk Me Out, but Watch Me Out. Stuck in the review, lost your conviction, losing your movements and your hesitation. I can now see the ground that's been falling. Pictured myself now, all that I wanted. Cause I'm taking my own time, easy as I come away home, and I'm writing my own lines. Watch me as I make my way out. Packing the punches that you've been promised. If you want rebirth, you must have destruction. I can now see the sky that's been falling. Pictured myself now, what have I wanted? Cause I'm taking my own time, easy as I come away home, and I'm writing my own lines. Watch me as I walk my way out. Cause I'm taking my own time, easy as I come away home, and I'm writing my own time. Watch me as I walk my way out. Thank you. Yeah, okay. Next song I'm gonna be playing is called Must Be. It's an oldie but a goodie. All right. Got your tongue stuck to your lips. You broke the knife with a gentle kiss. When you tucked your dreams away, did you know they'd come back to play? 'Cause there's truth in the way you move your feet. unspoken words in those sentences you speak. Crumpled up, hopes turn into your fantasies. But now your reflection's looking back at you. And now your reflection's looking at you. Must be the way you feel your heartbeat. Must be the way you sing your own tune. Must be the way you let your soul speak. 'Cause leaves are for, they're coming for you now. 'Cause leaves are for, they're coming for you. Yeah. They're coming for you. Ha! Ha! Na 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 na. Ha! Ha! Na 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 na. 'Cause there's truth in the way you move your feet. Unspoken words in those sentences you speak. Crumpled up, hopes turn into your fantasies. But now your reflection's looking back at you. And now your reflection's looking at you. Must be the way you feel your heartbeat. Must be the way you sing your own tune. Must be the way you let your soul speak. 'Cause leaves are for, they're coming for you now. 'Cause leaves are for, they're coming for you. Yeah. They're coming for you. Ha! Ha! Na 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 na. Thank you. Yes. I know when I play that, I'm like, it reminds me of the space here. 'Cause-
I remember playing that one with you.
Thank you for donations. Venmo.com/Monday Night Comedy Show or the Cash App, $MNCS69. You have to say it just like that. 69. It's the best temperature. It's the temperature at which book paper burns. 69. Now I'm just thinking about sexual positions. What's your favorite, Kruger?
Oh, gosh, Andy, there's so many.
Good answer, May.
Missionary.
Missionary. Liar. What's your favorite sexual position? Whichever, right on.
And also, you're going to vanilla shame missionary in the audience over there? Like,
no, I'm not.
Okay, good.
And
good.
also, there's nothing vanilla. Using vanilla as an insult is not basic. It is made from the bean of an orchid that only blooms once a year.
Correct.
And also is haunted by 1800 Civil War ghosts.
The first half of that was an educational meme.
It's
the
eaten
second half
by a poltergeist who then shits out the bean, and that bean
it's like the
which
panda coffee
poltergeist
stuff?
shits out.
Yeah.
That's what is sought after for vanilla ice cream, for Breyers.
And then they just crunch it and put it in a bottle and it's extract. And
That is it.
Yeah.
They boil it.
That's it?
Or something.
I'm still not impressed.
Okay. That's fine. What if I told you if you don't believe in vanilla, I have cut the brake lines of your car and you have 2 or 3 good stops before you have no brakes at all.
Have I told you
going
recently
home
how underrated vanilla is, Andrew? It's really just like, chocolate.
There was a memo floating around the Monday Night Comedy Show where I had to stop threatening the audience because usually I would shout, "Lock the doors!" and everybody would kind of, everybody's sphincter that would make that sound that we just heard. Sort of, but now I can threaten Kruger.
I'm durable.
Very rubber like a baby, and not that they don't bounce. I mean, some of them do. Don't try.
Don't bounce
That's
babies,
not,
audience.
No. They do that kind of shit at Acme.
Yeah.
But here at the Monday Night Comedy Show, we're a family show.
Yeah. We don't bounce babies.
No, we roll them.
Yeah.
Roll them. Usually down in a declined plane,
I think we should change the topic from baby
Nothing
rolling
funnier than a baby rolling down a hill, and then as it speeds up, it starts bouncing. I'm the only one. Okay, that's fine.
We're back. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm saying I miss having a baby. Not that I did that to my son.
Right. No, your son does not look like he was rolled down a hill like more than once or twice.
Correct. They, them.
They, them. Thank you.
Them. It's okay. Should we start the show?
Yeah.
From the beginning, you didn't let me finish. We're just gonna start it all.
I'm still down.
We've literally been
Do you
here
have
for
another
4
piece
hours.
of paper to misspell and then write
No, we
correctly?
don't. Sadly,
Okay.
we don't. Kill Whitey. Speaking of Whitey, no, that's a terrible, terrible segue. Terrible
Just
segue.
like, come on, commit
Speaking
to
of,
it,
let's kill our next. I really love this. Your next performer, you're gonna love him too. Let's watch the video for the intro video.
That's great. Thank you. Been thinking about Red Hot Chili Peppers lately. Yes. I've been thinking about the band known as Red Hot Chili Peppers and wondering why still. Pretty valid question. Red Hot Chili Peppers, why still? And let me just start with a quick disclaimer. I don't really give a high diddy shit about Red Hot Chili Peppers. I neither love nor hate Red Hot Chili Peppers. And if you're a fan of Red Hot Chili Peppers, hey, you do you, like what you like, regardless of what my dumb ass says up here. But I do have one question for you. Why still? Callbacks. No. Seriously, I need to start here from the very beginning with a large 50-foot view of where I'm going, all right? Just so, if you're not in the know, Red Hot Chili Peppers are a band that have been around for nearly 40 years.
Oh, yeah.
I said 40, as in 4 decades, 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10. And if you're one of those people going, hey man, that's not a big deal. Like there are a lot of bands that have been around for 40 years. Shit, I can name like 10 bands that have been around for more than Let me just stop you there. We're not talking about the fucking Stones here. Or goddamn Radiohead. We're speaking of Red Hot Chili Peppers. All right, so there is our level set. We'll continue. Within the span of 40 years. Holy shit, thank you. Have I not been on the entire time? Fuck me. I'll start over. I've been thinking about Red Hot Chili Peppers, Lay. The most laughs I've got tonight, so I'll take it. Within the span of 40 years, there are Red Hot Chili Peppers cover bands who have given up before the actual Red Hot Chili Peppers. Building on that disturbing fact, there are members of those Red Hot Chili Peppers cover bands who have died well before Red Hot Chili Peppers lead singer Anthony Kiedis, who by my count should be dead by 17 times by now. Rehab is not a fucking car wash. Within the span of 40 years, you probably went through a Red Hot Chili Peppers phase in high school or college. You owned 1 or 2, but never more than 3 Red Hot Chili Peppers albums. And you loved them so much. You loved their cocksure attitudes. You loved their cocky lyrics. You loved their cock socks. And then at some point, you just stopped listening to them. You grew out of them. You decided, no, I'm moving on to this other band, this other type of music. And then you might have graduated from that institution of learning. You might have gotten your very first adult job. You met the person you want to spend the rest of your life with. You ended up wanted to start a family. You end up going and moving to the suburbs, and at some point during all of that, you realize that Red Hot Chili Peppers are on tour again. Honey, look, Red Hot Chili Peppers! What do you mean so? I told you how much I love them. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Remember, I showed you that Polaroid of my little room growing up, all the posters. I owned all 3 of their albums. Well, you know what? Fine. I'm gonna look them up. I'm gonna see where they're playing. I don't care if it's 300 miles away. You don't have to go, Mr. Negativity. That's fine. We'll make it a girls' weekend. Good. Tickets can't be that much, can they? And that's when you make a shocking discovery. Red Hot Chili Peppers aren't playing some dinky casino in the Dakotas opening for Dokken. No. Red Hot Chili Peppers aren't relegated to a secondary or tertiary stage in some mud pit in Mississippi. No. They're fucking headlining a multi-million-dollar music festival like Pitchfork or Bonnaroo or Lollapalooza again. And what's worse, they're headlining with bands you've never, ever heard of. But when you ask your nieces and nephews, they're like, oh my God, I love those bands. But who's Chili Hot Pepper Willie? Who is that guy? Within the span of 40 years, you've gone to your therapist and said things like, oh my God, I have no idea what I'm doing with my life. I go to work every single day, work for people I hate, do things that I hate, for people that I hate. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm completely rudderless at this point. I don't know what to do. Is it too late to maybe like do a 180 and do something I actually want to do with my life? Or am I stuck in this one bullshit trail doing the same thing over and over again? Oh my God, I'm directionless. What am I supposed to do with my life? Oh my God. None of these thoughts have ever occurred to Red Hot Chili Peppers. None of these thoughts. None of the members of Red Hot Chili Peppers, past or present, dead or alive, have had these thoughts, have questioned this type of life. They just keep going and going and going and going. Album tour, album tour, album tour, album tour. To paraphrase a Patrick Swayze Anthony Kiedis vehicle known as Point Break. Thank you. Once you set them in motion, they will not stop. The perfect metaphor for Red Hot Chili Peppers is a shark powered by Energizer batteries. They cannot stop. They will not die. And this last little bit is going out to my millennial or Gen Z friends out in the audience. You know how you some of you, let's face it, most of you, have sort of that little tiny annoying thing you do where you just sort of feign ignorance blithely about something that happened before you were born, something you didn't experience yourself. You know, for instance, like some dumbass fat ass could come along and go, hey, you guys, this sounds like disco. You guys listen to disco? What? I'm sorry, what are you talking about? I don't know what that is, so ... You can't do that with Red Hot Chili Peppers. I know you want to. I fucking do too. But we're stuck with them. They're part of my dumbass generation. Now that they're here, they're part of your dumbass generations too, unfortunately. They are multi-generational. They are omnipresent. They are past, present, and future simultaneously. They are the dumbass Dr. Manhattans of rock and roll. Or whatever the fuck they play. Does anybody know what these assholes play anymore? I don't think they do. So I guess what I'm saying is, when the last of my generation, hi, Gen X, still here, not that anybody cares. When the last of my dumbass generation is fucking dead, all right? When the last of my shitty little ashes just goes straight up into the stratosphere, only to be mingled with stardust from whence it came, your generations will be pushed further and further into oblivion by newer, younger, more relevant generations. And you'll be having this same conversation about Red Hot Chili Peppers with your fucking grandchildren. Good night.
Humans of the audience, give it up for Sam Landman.
That is Sam Landman, everybody. Sam Landman, keep it going for him. What I got, you got to give it to your mama. What I got, you've got to give it to your papa. What I got, you got to give it to your daughter. You do a little dance, and then you drink a little water. What is Anthony Kiedis trying to tell us in that passage? What I take from that is that it is hot, and to quote a very good friend of mine, you either hydrate or dihydrate. So let's everybody give a round of applause to Anthony Kiedis and all of his friends in his little garage band, Red Hot Chili Peppers. No, keep it going. They are nigh on 40 years. One more time for Sam Landman. Everything he said was accurate.
I want few things more in my life than I want to see a reaction video of the Red Hot Chili Peppers watching that set. That's what I want. I want to see Flea losing his shit watching Sam Landman.
It will just inspire Anthony Kiedis to write more poems, and then he will sing them.
Here, right?
Yes, here at the Monday Night Comedy Show.
Yeah, why not?
Yep. JK, LOL, we're not like a garage band version of a comedy show. We're actually a big deal where we book acts like the Red Hot Chili Peppers. In fact, they were supposed to play intermission tonight, and we were like back and forth. We're like, I don't know, we promised you two. And you know how Bono gets, but you know how Anthony Kiedis gets. And there was just this thing.
They might not like Landman's
Kruger,
set.
thank God for you, and thank God for May, they finally put a kibosh on it, and they're like, no more bands. So we had to turn down them as well as Aerosmith and Beyonce.
That's a solo act. It's totally different.
Paula Cole comes back. I love it. You know, where have all those cowboys gone? I don't know. In an Anthony Kiedis poem. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Do we have contact with Pittsburgh?
We do.
This just in. Pittsburgh, known for the three rivers, the Duquesne, the Allegheny, and the Ohio, converging at one point and bringing forth the Pittsburgh Steelers and Heinz ketchup.
That's how the legend goes, anyway.
And I'm pretty sure all of if it's built with metal, Pittsburgh had something to do with it.
Yeah, let's go with that.
You were going with that. We like history here at the Monday Night Comedy Show, accurate or not. We just like it. It's interesting to us. We have a very good friend coming to us live from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Let's watch her video, her intro video. It's fucking awesome. It's Brittany Alexis! Welcome back!
You guys are like the best crowd. I can't even see you. I love you already. So I'm Brittany Alexis. I did want to say, real quick disclaimer, I always do it. If you heard my name and thought I was going to be a white girl, I'm here to tell you that you would be incorrect. That's it. That's it. It's a thing. I get it. I've been catfishing jobs with that name for years, so like, don't be too hard on yourself. It's fine. But I get it. Brittany Alexis sounds like someone. Brittany Alexis sounds like someone who's about to send you a message that starts off with, "Hey, girly." I know it's been a minute since we've talked, but I was wondering if you'd be interested in learning how I make $1,500 from home. #BossBabe. I get it. Brittany Alexis sounds like someone who's about to issue an Instagram apology video that does not include the words "I apologize." So. I get it. And then I'm doubling down on it because I look like I would drive a sports car the speed limit. So, yeah, I get it. I also look like I have a lot of cold cash. That's accurate, though, so I don't have too much for that. But yeah, I'm happy to be here. Anyone out there dating like they're trying to be on an episode of MTV's Disaster Date? Or is it just me? Just me? Okay. I find that hard to believe because that show was on for 80 episodes. So somebody's doing it. I'm not the only one making bad decisions. Yeah, no. I realized that because my love language is giving the benefit of the doubt to strangers. Not the best, doesn't always work out. I realized that when I was on a date, I was 97% sure I was getting kidnapped, but 3% of me was like, maybe it'll be a beautiful destination, you know? Like heaven. Yeah, like that's true. It was Falling Water, which is like a place in Pennsylvania. It's a waterfall, so it could be, you know, a beautiful date or a very special episode of Law and Order SVU. I was prepared for either outcome. But yeah, it was a fun time. He told me it was going to be a surprise. Either way, he would have been right. So again, it was going well. I think my first mistake in dating was I tried online dating with optimism, which is just not a good idea. Would not recommend it at all. I remember this is what I learned. What I learned about online dating, you can take this with you. Online dating only helps you make bad decisions quicker. That's like you can swipe right. I was swiping right on more than one guy who said in his bio that the kids in his pictures were his nieces and nephews, and he was an only child. Y'all got that a lot faster than me and his wife, so I'm seriously lucky. I swiped right on more than one guy who had more than one cell phone, and he was not a doctor. None of them were. They preferred the term street pharmacist. So again, not great decisions. I swiped right on a guy who said he went to the University of Hard Knocks, and I know that doesn't sound like a red flag, but I will just tell you straight up. That just means he's broken bitter about it. That's it. That's all that means. But yeah, no, I haven't always made the best decisions in dating. Some of it was because I was like young and naive. I remember one time, I'm pretty sure I accidentally dated a gang member. I think I did. I guess I should say that with more confidence because the prosecutor did prove her case beyond a reasonable doubt and he went to jail. But in my defense, I just thought that he had a tight-knit group tight-knit group of color-coordinated friends with a passion for fashion and affinity for a particular color. And while I was not wrong, there were context clues that have told me otherwise. One thing I wasn't prepared for when it came to online dating was how many ads there were online, right? Like, I was matching with the Popeyes chicken sandwich so often, I was pretty sure that was And honestly, I'm not going to say it's not. Reason being, I still go to the Popeyes in the south side of Pittsburgh, which if you've never been to the Popeyes in the south side of Pittsburgh, it's kind of like if you went to Gotham City for a chicken sandwich. Like, it's like if you went to Mordor for a chicken sandwich, you know? Just like, it's like if you went to Florida for a chicken sandwich. Not worth it. It's objectively a bad idea. I remember the last time I went to the Popeyes in the south side of Pittsburgh, one of the employees, this was during the pandemic, one of the employees took his mask off to sneeze near the food. And the other one took it off to take a swig out of his flask. So, not great. This is not great. I still went back. Let me tell you what happened the last time I went to the Popeyes in the south side of Pittsburgh. I go there, the cashier immediately psst me behind the counter, okay? Which is not how that interaction normally goes. So I go over to the counter. Now this is a boss move, I'm not gonna lie. He leans forward, but doesn't lower his voice and says, look, if you meet me out back, I'll sell you this chicken sandwich cheaper in cash. Like, that's angry. Yo, this chicken sandwich is $3.99. Okay? This man looked at me and was like, she doesn't even have a $5 bill. Like, so I declined the offer and he got mad at me. Like, I came in with the intent to barter. Like, I was like, I have 17 rupees and a bag of socks. What can I exchange for this? No, like, this is not a side plot. This is my life. But okay. All right, I get it. But yeah, no, just online. And you know the worst part about online dating is theoretically it should be fantastic because you can always put your best foot forward. And I hate that I miss out on that opportunity because, like, I need that. They're always saying, like, you could find the love of your life around dating corner. I'm not always ready for that. Okay? It's not always a good thing for me. I remember one time I cheated on my hairstylist, which I'm gonna tell you right now, not worth it. You pay so much more than money. It's a horrible decision. I cheated on my hairstylist. I went in looking like I was the lead in a Tyler Perry movie. So my wig was only like a little askew, right? When I left, I looked like I killed my husband in that same movie. Like, I looked like The Weeknd going in. I left looking like The Weeknd's less popular cousin Tuesday after a federal holiday. Like, it started out Hallmark, it ended up Lifetime. Not great. So I was really hoping that online, like, legitimately, you know how hairstylists will gas you up when you're leaving and they're like, oh my goodness, girl, like, you worked your magic on her. She looks amazing. She came in looking like a wreck. You turn that mess into a message, which is like slightly offensive. But they weren't gassing my hairstylist up. They looked at me and they said, you know, you have a good night. Have a great night. You know, enjoy the rest of Black History Month. I was like, it's July. I know. Yeah, it was rough. It was really bad. But yeah, I did try the online dating thing. Like I said, I did end up meeting someone. I will say that's probably partially due to the mask because you could catfish people in person. So that was fantastic. Really liked that. But no, I was dating this guy. He doesn't know I have a mustache because of the mask. So again, I would say just try it. Live your best life. But I do think of my boyfriend as a hero. And that has so much less to do with him and so much more to do with the fact that I was one more bad relationship or another day of being single away from posting inspirational quotes on Facebook. I don't think it's fair for me to say, if you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. With a picture of Marilyn Monroe, when my worst is eating 40 pizzas in 40 days. But my best is eating 40 pizzas in 30 days, you know? I feel like that doesn't deserve applause because, you know, it's like that old saying, it's not delivery, it's depression. That's what it is. Don't do that. That's not a goal match. But no, I also don't think I can say, if you, I don't mind sitting at the table by myself because I know what I bring to it multiple times in a day. Like the second time you say that in one day, people are going to stop believing you because that's not a statement of fact. That's an affirmation. I'm trying to believe that myself. But yeah, so I'm glad that I met somebody, especially because it's better. It's just better than the alternatives, which is just watching murder shows all day and learning absolutely nothing. But yeah, I am about to get out of here. I did want to leave you guys on a positive note because I'm a pretty happy person. I'm trying to be happier than a white man who just got called brother by a brother. So like, they'd be so happy. They'd be changing their Instagram bio. It's like, okay, we good. No. But yeah, that is, if you're looking for love, you're never too much for the right person. And I know that for a fact because I've watched every single episode of TLC's My Strange Addiction, and they all have spouses. So you're going to be fine. I'm Brittany, Alexis. You guys have been great.
Humans of the audience, give it up for Brittany, Alexis.
Brittany Alexis from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's such a treat. Every time you come here, we love you. And we want you to come to Minneapolis sometime so we can show you how we make our ketchup and how we make our steel and, and whatever else Pittsburgh does. Philly cheesesteaks, ironically. Wouldn't that be weird if they were better at it than Philadelphia?
Juicy Lucy.
Juicy, you mean South Minneapolis? Fuck off. Juicy Lucy's in Pittsburgh. The Paris of thought. My God. Some guards.
Boss, we had to cut the guard budget.
We had to cut the guard budget, but you know, we can still get Red Hot Chili Peppers and Aerosmith, but we don't have anyone to escort you out.
They actually,
you hang your head in shame.
They'd have been pissed if they showed up there were no guards.
I don't know how to talk to you anymore.
I know.
You know, it used to be that our next performer was, oh, so far away. What dedication? What pluck and verve? No. That pluck and verve now goes to Juliana HENG, who came to us from Malaysia. But I guess we can slum it in Fairbanks, Alaska with our next performer. Check out the video, everybody. SHAEFFER from Fairbanks, Alaska! There he is. There he is. Welcome back, Michael.
Thank you. Nick, and I will happily concede the title of Furthest Away Entertainer to Juliana. She was amazing, and I hope to see her perform again sometime soon. So thanks for slumming it with me tonight. Some of you know that I've written Shakespearean adaptations of The Breakfast Club and Caddyshack. Those comedies have been performed up here in Fairbanks. The latter also enjoyed a handful of live performances at the Kansas City Fringe. I hope to bring those to the Minneapolis Fringe sometime soon. I am currently working on writing a Shakespearean adaptation of perhaps the greatest Christmas movie of all time, Die Hard. The working title is Thy Hard. Here's a teaser from that play in the form of a sonnet, wherein Sergeant Al Powell from Die Hard tries to quit Twinkies before the end of Sonnet 75. So are you to my thoughts as food to life, or as sweet creamy stuffings inside I've found? For the volley of polysorbate 60, I hold such strife as twixt a flatfoot detective and the concrete ground. Previously a proud enjoyer of hydrogenated tallow, a filching urchin could steal this treasure. Better, alert to the corn syrup sallow, and seek a sleek go-gurt for healthier pleasure. But when wandering eyes feast my hostess's sight, her riboflavin bosom starved for a look, I wish the squishy diglyceride's delight, caloric craving of her gleaming cleavage betook. A stomach's surfeited pain, sponge cake woes, I have hence gluttoned the twain, and now I feel gross. So make sure you look for that. The forthcoming Die Hard, Shakespearean spoof of Die Hard, should be out by this Thanksgiving. And so here's a new one. I wrote this one this morning over a cup of dark black coffee. This poem does go to some dark places. It's a persona piece written from the point of view of a Disney character. I suspect there are many of you who subscribe to Disney Plus, yes. There are no spoilers herein, but the movie in question, the inspiration for this creative cuss-out, the movie has been out since 1940. This is They Can't All Have Been Lies. My boy wakes up every night trembling from these nightmares of cages and kindling, of forbidden islands and kidnappers, of 9-year-old classmates' eyes widening with horror as their hands transform into hooves. He thrashes under his blankets, gasping for air, devoured every night by the ocean colossus. How satisfying it will be to hear your thorax crunch, you insignificant insect, you whiny-voiced barometer that begs to be squashed. You are a kitchen floor anomaly that some uninvited fairy once trusted to advise my son. You flea, you fraud. When my son needed you most, you ghosted him. You arrogant fop. You know-nothing astrologer, a fool so starstruck the heedless constellations compel you to chirp. A bedtime nuisance whose life I shall end. And when you breathe your last gasp, it shall be under my heel. And when you wish upon the stars, it will be fruitless. Every afternoon for 9 years, I have watched my cat Figaro try to remove his own butthole by licking it off. He would have made a more sensible advisor than you. Figaro will half-heartedly bat around your dumb corpse with a shaggy forepaw because that is his simple-minded instinct. But then he will dismiss this crumbling toy out of equal parts boredom and disgust. He will watch as I sweep your exoskeleton stuff under my late father's rug like a forgotten bottle cap or a ball of lint. The family of cockroaches that lives underneath our cupboard will bear witness, giving your burial site a wide berth every time they scurry across these uneven planks for a midnight morsel, lest they incur a carpenter's stomp from feet that will pave out this unwanted hiccup in the rug. You pinky finger of trash, you pest, you bug. So the mention of a cat's butthole should qualify that as comedy, yes? You pretty much got to decide if you're on Team Geppetto or Team Jiminy Cricket by the end of that one. But to the Pinocchio files who might still be on the fence, fire up your Disney Plus, watch Pinocchio again, and tell me that Jiminy Cricket is just one of the most well-intentioned but least helpful characters in all of Disney. And that includes the Marvel Comic Universe, that includes Star Wars. Jiminy Cricket is just useless. He's like Marco in Die Hard. Marco was one of Hans Gruber's third-tier thugs who dies super early in Die Hard, and Jiminy Cricket is just like that, a worthless turd in fancy shoes. Moving on. My final poem is an abecedarian, and an abecedarian structure, the first batch of lines should all start with the letter A, and then the second batch of lines, when you transition or move on, should all start with the letter B, and the poem should end with the final lines being a batch of words that start with the letter Z. And this is also a relatively new piece. Hope you enjoy it. This is The Greatest Year in Pop. Apologies to the ages, especially elders 1977 and 1969. But this absolute is not merely mine. 1984 was arguably the greatest year in popular music ever. At the beginning, Alan Hunter plugged a-ha's animated thugs who took on art house lovers bedecked in black and white, two-dimensional bods against all odds, and my argument has so many layers. When peeled, I am armed with the legendary likes of Bowie, The Boss, an ex-Beatle, Borderlines, Bustin' Ghosts, and Benatar on this battlefield. Billy Joel spent an entire album serenading Christy Brinkley, and Bananarama said things more succinctly with Cruel Summer, The Cars, Cougar, and Karma Chameleons, Sister Christians who were motorin', or so the chorus implied, Duran Duran and Doves that cried, dancers that did so defiantly, did it in the dark, with duos to say it isn't so painful, or say what they wanted to. Def Jam debuted with the Beastie Boys and LL Cool J. The Eurythmics and Eddie Van Halen played with our desires, while Unforgettable Fires still burn. A former Commodore filled up the dance floor. Fucking Footloose went all the way to number 1, and fun was the only thing girls truly wanted. Genesis left us haunted, but the heart of rock and roll was still beaten in Excess, in Jump, in Journey, in Cool and the Motherfucking Gang, in the lacy undergarments when Madonna sang. The middle of the road had room for first offenders, the pretenders, and other happy enders, making out to night rangers, lurking strangers, and apocalyptic dangers that no one could stop, faster than you could blow up and pop 99 Luft balloons. Obviously, Prince. Queen from the Caribbean. A queued up MTV video was the place to be, and Martha Quinn was serving up a steady diet of Quiet Riot, rocking and grooving with the Reflex, Relax, and Ray Parker Jr., she-boppers, sophomoric chart toppers, romantic semantics and subtleties. The Stones were just getting warmed up. Happy birthday to Mick Jagger. Sir Elton John singing the blues, soundtrack blitzes on jukebox fritzes, stride breakers that sizzled and soared beyond the summers of yesteryear. Sunday shoes were kicked off. Tipper Gore was ticked off. Tina turned into the best albums of her entire career. U2, Union of the Snake, Undercover of the Night, voyeuristic suspicions that caused such a fright and taught us how to rock, well, how to wang, chung, whenever and wherever we wanted our ear holes rung, or way down the road when you just needed a nostalgic fix. That's FIXX for double the chart-topping trouble. Say yes if you remember Owner of a Lonely Heart. Say yes if you've loved all these songs from the start. Maybe you just had to Yamo be there. But even Zeppelin's front man was in the mood for something beyond the 70s and disco, dude. 1984 had zero afternoon delight, zero time in a bottle, zero seasons in the sun. And this does not mean that this discussion is done. I want this to be a starting point. Holler back at me if your favorite year was else when, or if you think 1984 is perhaps more deserving of the silver or the bronze. Has there been a year with better pop music? You'll have to let me know. I await your responses with an open mind and open ears. But here's the capper. 1984 did have ZZ Top's hit single Legs. Gorgeous gams that will wham, bam, walk all over you and then mop the floor the second you try to convince me that there was a bigger or better year for pop music than 1984. Thank you.
Humans of the audience, give it up for Michael Schaeffer.
Oh, yeah. Michael Schaeffer, the official poet laughing of the Monday Night Comedy Show. He's our official poem slinger. And from Fairbanks, Alaska. Michael, are you still planning on moving to Iowa?
Yes. Yeah, that'll be January of 2023.
Gross. But it'll be nice to have you close by. Because the commute right now is kind of a bitch. But if you want to learn more about Michael Schaeffer, friend him on Facebook. He has 4 books of poetry out, a CD where he's an Elvis impersonator at Christmas time. He saves burning orphanages.
Yep.
He takes kids off the streets and off of the drugs that they were on the streets and puts them into Harvard.
Yeah, just right into Harvard.
Right in. Yeah. And what else? He cleared up like a rash for you, didn't he, Kruger?
Well, I wasn't gonna bring that up, but yeah, he helped with that rash.
Horrible.
Thing that we said we'd never talk about.
Yeah, it was mostly heat related, but I mean there were some other things that ought not to play.
I might have
you've
also
been
been
playing,
responsible for
right?
Yeah, all that
I mean,
stuff that I
it was
well,
sexual.
I'll tell you, Andy,
it was,
if you never tell anyone else.
See, when you have a tattoo on your chest that says "Fuck Patrol," you get into a little bit of trouble, and you laugh all the way to the free clinic. But God, we're happy to have you. This being your last night, Kruger. Let's just dedicate the show to you. I mean, tentatively, we're going to stick a pin in that. Yeah. I want to take it over to St. May. May, how are you today? Always good. Always good. I don't know if you guys can hear her. She's very soft-spoken. But that's St. May. Give her a round of applause.
Hey.
Because we haven't seen her in a while. Before we bring up our next performer, our final performer of the night, I just want to thank all the comics and especially the audience. My God, you guys have been great. Give yourselves a round of applause. Forget about the comics. Just clap for you. You chose comedy in a cool studio in North Minneapolis when you could have been at, I don't know, like a fish and chips place.
Yeah.
Or what's that place with the circle, the Ferris wheel?
Oh, Betty Dangers?
Betty Dangers? Yeah. You could be overcharged for a hamburger there.
And know that they treat their employees like crap.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we frown upon that. Do cocaine in our bathrooms. We're a lot more fun than any place in the metro. And sometimes we're here, but sometimes we're at Club Underground in Spring Street Tavern in Northeast. In fact, that's where we'll be next week. We're always here on the last Monday of the month streaming, so you can see all the people from Malaysia, from Fairbanks, from Pittsburgh, from Louisville, and we also have other cities that we visit. Next week or next month will be different, so join us at the end of August. But let's close out the night with an old friend of the Monday Night Comedy Show who hasn't been performing since before the pandemic at this show, at least. We haven't seen you in forever, James. Let's play the video, the intro video, and we hear. It's a big joke. Oh,
James Wells!
James Wells! Let's get James Wells over here! James! Don't walk in slow motion, James. There we go. There he is. Welcome back. James Wells!
Thank you, Monday Night Comedy Show. Thank you very much. This is it's fun to get back and do stand-up again. I'm a little rusty, so it's been a while, so this is weird. My grandma died. Actually, both of them died. Yeah, I know. I told, it's been a while. Usually this was like my good opener. Yeah, both my grandmas died. Not because of the COVIDs. One of my grandmas died from Alzheimer's. There's jokes in here. Just it's a bold move starting with dead grandma jokes. Just wait. This is the best dead grandma joke you're ever gonna hear. Yeah, one of my grandmother died from Alzheimer's, and it was really tough on everybody in the family. We got a big Irish Catholic family, and grandma forgot everybody in the family except for me. And my family got really jealous, and then I had to remind them that grandma is Irish Catholic, and there's a picture or a statue of somebody that looks a lot like me in every room of grandma's house. Just all over the place. Like I would go over and I'd say, Grandma, look at my new headshot. I'm sending that to Hollywood. Look how the light shines on top of my head. I say, Grandma, look over there, that statue. Every time you look up at that, you remember that your grandson James loves you this much. Oh! Good dead grandma joke, huh? Yeah. I think if any of my relatives looked like the Pope or JFK, Grandma probably would have remembered them too. That's more of a St. Paul joke. That's all right. I know you Lutherans over here on this side of the river don't don't get some of those references. Oh, where else do I go from here with this? Let's see. This microphone stand, is this still the one from the old place?
No, but we still blame Brian Shelsby. So.
Okay. All right. Let's see. I've done meth 3 times. Well, I was a hot tar roofer for 21 years. 3 times in 21 years is well below industry standards, okay? And like, the first time, the first 2 times I tried meth, I thought I was doing coke, so. And then the 3rd time is because I couldn't find any coke, so. You know, why snort it and waste it when you can smoke it and taste it, is what some of my roofer buddies used to say. All right. Yeah, I quit my roofing job. The last building I was on was the St. Cloud State Prison, and the tanker truck started on fire. Oh. Yeah. Yep. And in true Johnny Cash fashion, I just remember running down that ladder with a tanker truck on fire, and I looked up to the sky and I was like, hey, Johnny, if you can get me out of this one alive, I swear on a stack of your guitars, I will find a new job. And I did. And then Johnny came to me again and said, go get a job working for GM. So now I just move parts, one part at a time. Bummer is I can't fit any of them in my lunchbox. I don't have a friend with a mobile home, so. All right, I was expecting, you know, there's many white people in here. I thought you guys would probably be more into those Johnny Cash references, but like I said, I'm rusty. I'm rusty. Yeah, one of the things that got to work at the St. Cloud State Prison, and that's not the first prison I worked on. I worked at the Shakopee Women's Prison for a while. Yeah, it was like a Scared Straight program for construction workers, all right? Yeah, I got sexually harassed. But if you saw what I was wearing, you'd be like, that guy's asking for it. And I was. This is caged heat, goddammit. And if there's one look that I can pull off, it's sexiest guy in the trailer park. And I'm standing on the edge of the roof, and these 3 women walk by, and they took a smile to me, and judging by their smiles, I'm guessing they were doing 5 to 10 for meth. And a woman looks up at me and yells, fall, fall, I hope you fall. Ladies, I don't mean to mansplain catcalling to you, but that's not how you do it. The second woman looks up and goes, you can fall in me with your dick. That's sexual harassment. And the third woman, I'm guessing she was like the shot-calling cat caller of the yard. She looks up at me and goes, Roofer Jesus, I will rip your dick off. That's sexual harassment. Yeah. Oh. I do live in South Minneapolis. I don't want to be one of those 35W bridge people. I live a mile, south of Lake Street, so I was never really all that nervous. But the last night, it's about 2 o'clock in the morning, probably doing the same thing that everybody else in here was doing, watching the news and getting the shit scared out of you. But, it was weird when I hear my neighbors yell, hey, if you don't leave, we're calling the cops. Which really was kind of an idle threat because everybody knew the cops weren't showing up. And I go outside. I put on shoes and pants and a shirt. I didn't run out like those ass clowns in St. Louis that, remember they're like, hey babe, let's grab the guns and, chase off the kids that are on the lawn. Remember what I'm talking about? Yeah. I put shoes on. It just seemed, appropriate. I didn't have any weapons in the house. Like, I had, zombie apocalypse weapons, gardening tools, stuff that, I'm sure would have been fine for Antifa, but, we started hearing rumors that the Ku Klux Klan was running around, and we're like, ooh, shit, this could get weird. And so I acknowledged my neighbors. I'm like, hey, what's going on? They're like, that guy down at the end of the street is not moving. He's been standing there for about 10 minutes. And I looked down the street, and it took me a while to figure it out. And then I recognized who it was. I was like, JP, is that you? And then this person didn't answer. And then I started getting nervous. If those of you that aren't from South Minneapolis, JP is just, he just kind of lives in the neighborhood. I don't know where. He's just always been there since I've been there. And this figure makes a turn and face plants into the sidewalk, and that's why I knew it was JP. He'd been drinking. And I'm like, JP, you gotta go find a spot to sleep it off. All right, you're scaring everybody in the neighborhood. And then the neighbor goes, who's a JP? And then I had to explain to him, like I'm explaining to you. I thought everybody knew him. And here's the thing about JP is he is harmless. He's never hurt anybody in the neighborhood. But he has stolen from everyone in the neighborhood. Mostly bicycles and lawnmowers. It's like his mode of transportation and occupation. And here's the thing, it's like an urban version of Shirley Jackson's The Lottery. Every year, somebody loses a lawnmower, but everybody else gets $5 lawn service. And I think we'll just leave it on that one. I think, yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Thank you so much. I had a blast. And hopefully next time you see me, I'll be a little more, not as rusty as I am. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Humans of the audience, give it up for James Wells.
James Wells brings us to the end of our little party here tonight, the 33rd. God, we've been doing this too many times.
Yeah, a lot of times.
Why hasn't anyone tried to stop us? Maybe they will after tonight, after I want to impart some wisdom to everybody. What I got, you got to get it, put it in you. What I got, you got to get it, put it in you. What I got, you've got to get it, put it in you. Amen! Thank you for joining us at the Monday Night Comedy Show. I want to thank Nanotako Studios, Mercy Victor, Kat Morgan, Jeff, Shane, Whitney out back. Thank you guys so much. Carly at the bar, give her a round of applause. Outstanding work with St. May of the Underground with us, as well as J Money, the motherfucking Hawk, Kaka. Next week we are back at Spring Street Tavern and Club Underground. We want you to join us. Go to MondayNightComedyShow.com. It's under construction because I am horrible with websites. If you are a web designer and know how to use templates made for 4-year-olds, talk to me after the show. We will see you next week. Be safe. Raise a glass to absent friends.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Thanks, everyone.